Welcome to the deep dive. We take the source material you give us, could be articles, notes, research, and we dive deep to pull out the key insights just for you.
That's right.
Today, we're digging into something I think affects almost everyone at some point. How do you actually study effectively? How do you get those bloody good marks?
Exactly. And our source for this deep dive is the book 13 Steps to Bloody Good Marks. It's by Ashwin Sanghi, you might know, his 13-step series, and Ashok Rajani.
Okay.
And Rajani brings, get this, over 50 years of teaching experience. Everything from like nephews to MBA students, just incredible breadth.
Wow, 50 years. So a real mix of perspectives there.
Totally. And interestingly, the book apparently came about because a student just flat out asked them how to study better.
So it's born from a real need. That's great. So
Yeah.
this dive is really focused on pulling out the practical stuff from their work, specifically for you, the listener, to become a more effective learner.
Right. Our mission here is basically to unpack their strategies. Some are pretty practical, some maybe a bit surprising, to help you figure out how to work smarter, not just harder, and, hit your academic goals.
It's not just about logging the hours, is it?
Not at all. It's about what you actually get from those hours. Efficiency, understanding.
Okay, let's get into it. They kick things off with this foundational idea summed up in an acronym. BUS. BUS.
Yep. Believe, unlearn, and work smart.
Sounds simple enough on the surface.
It does, but there's a lot packed in. Believe is first, and they say it's absolutely fundamental. You have to start by believing you can actually achieve good marks.
And they use a really powerful story here, don't they, Srikanth Bolla?
Or absolutely staggering story. Born blind into poverty in rural India. Neighbors literally told his parents to let him die.
Just awful.
But his parents didn't. They raised him with love. He faced incredible barriers, had to fight just to study science, figured out ways to get textbooks read to him, then scores 98% in his high school exam.
98%.
Yeah. Then gets denied entry to the top Indian engineering colleges because he's blind. So what does he do? He applies internationally and becomes the first ever international blind student admitted to MIT.
Wow. Just,
Yeah.
wow. That really puts belief into perspective. He had that quote, right? Something like,
If the world looks at me and says, Srikanth, you can do nothing, I look back at the world and say, I can do anything.
that's it. That's powerful. So that internal conviction is step one. But what if you're listening and thinking, I don't feel that conviction. I've always struggled. How did they suggest building it?
Well, it's not just wishing. It's about, acknowledging the struggle, but then actively looking for tiny bits of evidence of past success, maybe, or focusing really hard on how applying new methods could change things. And that ties straight into, unlearn.
Right, unlearn. I love the Einstein definition of insanity. They mentioned doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Exactly. And they apply it directly to studying. If your current methods aren't getting you where you want to be, you have to be willing to ditch them, even if they feel comfortable or familiar.
You have to actively unlearn those habits.
Yeah, to give that example of learning Urdu script. If you've written left to right your whole life, learning right to left means consciously fighting that ingrained habit. It's an active unlearning process.
It's like hitting reset on your approach. There's that Alvin Toffler quote, too.
Oh yeah, the one about the illiterates of the 21st century.
That's the one. Will not be those who cannot read or write. They will be the ones who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. This book feels like a manual for that process, specifically for studying.
Absolutely. Which brings us to the work smart, not hard. This pushes back against that advice we always hear, just study harder.
Which often isn't helpful advice at all.
Right. The book focuses way more on how you study, the techniques, the efficiency, not just brute force hours.
He reminds me of that story they tell about the king and his 3 sons filling the room.
Oh yeah, great analogy. The challenge is to fill a room completely, no gaps. First son tries stones, works super hard, room's not full. Second son tries hay, works just as hard, still gaps.
But the third son?
The third son just sprinkles perfume, and the scent fills every single corner, effortlessly.
That's working smart. Understanding the goal, fill the room, or in our case, really understand and retain the material and finding the most effective way to do it.
And they stress, it's not just about marks either. Getting good marks without understanding. Well, it's like reciting prayers you don't grasp the meaning of. You need both, marks and understanding.
Okay, so working smart clearly needs some planning. That Benjamin Franklin quote comes to mind. If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail.
Exactly. And they make planning really concrete. First step is setting realistic goals. They use this framework, SPCRP.
CCRP. Got it. What does that stand for?
Sensible, precise, certifiable, rewarding, and pertinent.
Okay, sensible, precise, certifiable, rewarding, pertinent. So, like that long-distance walker they mentioned, Jean Beliveau, he walked 47,000 miles.
It's incredible.
But he did it by setting a daily target. Just 20 miles a day. That's the SPCRT idea, right? Make your study goal sensible for the time you have. Precise, like read chapter 5, certifiable, you know when it's done.
Rewarding. Maybe give yourself a small break after.
And pertinent, obviously relevant to your course, breaks it down.
Exactly. Then they talk about the planning process itself. You need a big picture view, the semester or term plan, then zoom in to a weekly plan. And then, crucially, a detailed daily plan.
Yeah, the source has examples like calendar grids and daily diary pages, and it's not just about scheduling study time, is it?
No, that's key. You have to block out time for classes, sure, but also sleep, exercise, family time, hobbies, life. Don't just cram it all with study.
And importantly, schedule the tough stuff, the deep study, the revision for when you're actually most alert.
Right. Are you a morning person? An evening person? Plan around your natural energy cycle. Don't fight it.
They suggest a structure for the daily task list too, which seems really useful, like sections for homework, revision.
Revision of today's material specifically.
Okay, good point. Then preparation for tomorrow's classes.
And then, other tasks.
That structure makes sense. You're constantly looking back, looking forward, and dealing with the immediate tasks.
Right. And they also mentioned using those little pockets of time waiting for the bus, the 10 minutes between classes. Use flashcards, do a quick mental review. Don't waste those minutes.
Okay, so planning is sorted. That leads nicely into making the actual classes count. Why do classes sometimes feel like such a slog?
Yeah. They point to the speed difference. Teachers talk at maybe 50 words per minute, but our brains, they can process closer to 1,000.
1,000. Wow, no wonder your mind wanders. There's so much spare capacity.
Exactly. So the solution is active engagement. You have to bridge that gap yourself, and their number one strategy, prepare before class.
Pre-read the material.
Yep, like Arjuna practicing archery before his guru started teaching him formally.
Seems basic, but they say successful students swear by this. Why is it so effective, just reading ahead?
Because when you get to class, it's not the first time you're encountering the material. It's the second pass.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you can follow along better if you already have some context. You can spot what's important, maybe even anticipate questions. It builds momentum.
Makes sense. What other tips for class time?
Sit near the front. Simple, but it physically limits your field of vision. Fewer distractions behind you. Easier to see and hear the teacher.
Forces you to focus forward.
And clarify doubts. Participate. Don't be afraid to ask questions. That Chinese proverb is pretty blunt. Ask and be a fool for 5 minutes. Don't ask and be a fool for life.
Especially if you've prepared beforehand, right? Your questions will likely be more thoughtful.
Exactly. Shows you're engaged.
Hmm.
Teachers notice that sincerity. And participation itself forces you to pay attention.
A practical one. Steer clear of chatty friends during the lecture.
Yeah, Mark Twain's point. 2 ears, 1 mouth. Use them proportionally. Talk to them after class. Maybe even move seats if you have to.
Making a good impression, does that really matter for marks?
Well, teachers are human. Showing genuine effort and sincerity. It can make a difference, maybe especially on borderline grades. And talking to older students can give you insights into what a particular teacher values, like short answers versus essays.
Good intel. Punctuality is obvious, avoids disruption, missing the start.
And don't skip classes if you can possibly avoid it. Each one builds on the last. Miss one, and you might struggle later. If you do miss, catch up immediately. Find a reliable friend.
And homework, not just busy work.
Definitely not. It's designed specifically to reinforce the concepts from that day's class. It's your first line of defense against the forgetting curve, which we'll definitely talk more about. It's crucial.
Okay, so reinforcing learning. That brings us to note-taking. They stress the purpose isn't just to have notes to read later.
Right. The main benefit is the act of making them. It forces you to listen actively, to process the information, and crucially, to put it into your own words. That's the key step.
There's that debate, though. Take notes during class or just listen intently.
Good question. If you can take notes during class, and the rules allow it, that's often best, because it forces that immediate processing. But if not, the next best thing is to write them up immediately after class.
And the physical act of writing helps too, doesn't it? More than typing?
They suggest it does. Listening uses one part of your brain. Writing engages others, including spatial processing. It helps kind of physically embed the learning more firmly. It's the process of creation.
So what are good notes not?
Definitely not just typing out everything the teacher says verbatim. Not just randomly highlighting huge chunks of the textbook. Not copying word for word from the book either. And not trying to capture every single detail. Lean and focused.
But do you copy things like diagrams or charts the teacher draws on the board?
Oh, absolutely. If the teacher draws it, it's probably important. Visuals stick, and they often reappear on exams.
Tips for efficiency while taking notes in class.
Use abbreviations. Saves tons of time. Just make sure you have a master list somewhere so you remember what they mean later.
And then, the really critical step. Refine those rough notes after class.
Yes, ideally within 24 hours.
Why so soon?
2 reasons. First, it's a powerful review session fighting that forgetting curve again. Second, it forces you to make your notes concise, clear, and actually useful for later revision. Turn rough scribbles into clean bullet points, maybe a quick flow chart, key phrases.
The author mentioned using really thin notebooks, right? Like 1 page per lecture for revision.
Yeah, that was his method, derived from this refining process, making the notes themselves a core revision tool.
So this whole cycle, prepare before, engage during, review, and refine after. That's their golden rule.
Exactly. Preview, view, review. It ties everything together, the planning, the class time strategies, the note-taking.
Preview the material, view the lecture, and take initial notes, review and refine those notes within 24 hours.
It's like that John D. Rockefeller quote. The secret of success is to do the common things uncommonly well. This routine is doing the common thing of learning, but doing it uncommonly well, consistently.
Consistency. That seems to be the bridge between knowing what to do and actually getting results.
Totally. They use some great metaphors. Joe Girard, the car salesman.
Sure.
The elevator to success is out of order. You'll have to use the stairs, one step at a time.
Love that. And the Lucretius one about raindrops wearing away stone?
Yeah, persistence. Incremental effort. It links to that Japanese idea of kaizen, continuous small improvements.
That Shaolin monk story really brings it home.
Oh, yeah, the water slapping. Day after day, the young monk just carries water, slaps the water in the bucket, thinks it's pointless, feels punished.
Not learning any cool kung fu move.
Right. But after a year of this consistent, seemingly useless task, he gets angry, slams his hand on the stone table, and breaks it.
Whoa.
The strength was built incrementally hidden through that relentless daily practice. That's the power of consistent revision versus last-minute cramming.
Cramming doesn't build that deep strength, it's superficial. Robert Collier, success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out.
So it comes back to your daily plan. Stick to it. Work at your pace. Don't compare yourself constantly to others.
Bill Gates said something like, most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. Find your sustainable pace.
Exactly. But what throws a wrench in consistency? Procrastination.
Ah, yes. The enemy. Putting off the important stuff.
We all do it.
Yeah.
The book lists the classic signs. Taking ridiculously long breaks, doing easy but unimportant tasks first, falling into social media, black holes, losing momentum, waiting to feel like it.
Which never happens.
Right. Or just not having a to-do list at all, no priorities.
Fat for want of a nail. Rhyme is a good reminder. Small delays add up to big problems. They mentioned the discipline of retired military folks, too.
Yeah, that ingrained ability to just get things done. So how do you fight it? Practical steps. Definitely have that daily to-do list. Prioritize it. Maybe use the Eisenhower urgent important matrix.
Focus on one thing at a time. Physically, put your phone away.
Remind yourself why you're doing this. Visualize the success or the consequences of not doing it. Maybe tackle the task you dread most first. Get it out of the way.
The satisfaction of ticking things off a list is real.
Totally. And reward yourself for finishing tasks. Or, if needed, penalize yourself slightly. Be a bit tough on yourself sometimes.
And a specific technique they highlight for breaking tasks down and beating procrastination is the Pomodoro technique.
Right, named after those tomato kitchen timers. Pomodoro Italian for tomato. Developed by Francesco Cirillo back in the 80s.
And it's super simple, isn't it?
Deceptively simple. Pick one task, set a timer for 25 minutes, work only on that task, no distractions, 0.
25 minutes. Okay.
Then timer goes off, take a short break like 3 to 5 minutes, stretch, get water, then repeat. After maybe 4 Pomodoros, take a longer break, 15-30 minutes.
Why does that 25-minute block work so well?
2 main reasons. First, it makes big tasks feel less overwhelming. You're not committing to study for 3 hours straight, just 25 minutes. Back to Jean Béliveau's Daily Miles. Second, it actually aligns with our natural attention spans.
Yeah, they showed that graph, right? Attention really does dip after about half an hour.
Exactly. So those 25-minute sprints work with your biology, not against it.
And the breaks are important too, not wasted time.
Essential. It's like sharpening the axe when you're chopping wood. You need that pause to recharge, clear your head, step away. Prevents burnout.
Okay, shifting slightly, how we actually learn during those focused periods, they have some strong opinions on multitasking.
Oh yeah, bottom line, it's a bad idea for studying, period.
Like trying to run too many programs on a computer.
Perfect analogy. Everything
Right.
slows down, nothing gets done well. They cite studies Indiana Uni, Ohio State, Kaiser Family Foundation, all confirming it's just counterproductive to try and study while texting or watching TV or whatever.
They talk about concentration like a magnifying glass focusing sunlight.
Right. That single intense point of focus is what burns the lesson into your brain. You have to train that monkey mind to stay on one thing, like Arjuna seeing only the bird's eye, nothing else.
Okay, so no multitasking during a study block.
Yeah.
But they also say variety between blocks is good. Seems contradictory.
It does, but it's about switching subjects. So focus intensely on math for an hour, then switch completely to history, then maybe to physics, or even related topics within a subject,
Why is that helpful?
because it forces your brain to stay agile, to switch gears, to retrieve different types of information. It keeps you more alert than just grinding away at the same type of problem for hours on end. Like mental cross-training keeps things fresh.
They also mention endurance training for focus, like an athlete pushing a bit further.
Yeah. So if you're in a study block using Pomodoro or whatever, and you feel your mind starting to drift before the time is up, push yourself just a little bit. Do one more math problem, read one more paragraph, finish that subsection, then take your break or switch. Builds mental stamina.
Okay, makes sense. Now, let's get to the absolute core. Memory and recall. This is where the forgetting curve really bites.
It's brutal when you see it visually. That graph shows how much information we lose and how fast. Especially in the first hour after learning something new. It just plummets.
Understanding that curve is key, though. It explains why that 24-hour review we talked about is so critical.
Absolutely. Reviewing within a day can apparently help you retain up to 80% of the material. That's huge.
They mentioned a study suggesting the best time to review is maybe 10% of the way between learning and the test.
Yeah, a UC San Diego study. Though the authors rightly caution about taking any single study as gospel, the core principle is sound. Review early, review often. Don't wait until the week before the exam.
And this leads to maybe the most important memory technique they push, active recall. It's the opposite of just rereading.
Right. Rereading feels productive, but it's often quite passive. Active recall is, well, active. You read a section, then you close the book.
Close the book, okay.
And then you try to recall what you just read. Either say it out loud, write it down, explain it to an imaginary person. You force your brain to retrieve the information.
That retrieval process is what strengthens the memory, right? Not just passively seeing the words again.
Exactly. A Washington University study confirmed it's far more effective for long-term retention.
Physical stuff matters too, like posture.
Yeah, sit upright, maybe even stand. Don't study slumped on the sofa or in bed. Those places signal relaxation or sleep to your brain. Creates the wrong association.
And a neat practical tip, read the questions at the end of the chapter first.
Yeah, before you even start reading the chapter properly, it primes your brain, tells you what to look for, what the key concepts are likely to be. Smart shortcut.
They also detail methods like SQ3R and PQRST.
Right. Survey, question, read, recite, review, or preview, question, read, self-recite, test. They're variations on a theme.
The theme being
Engage actively. Skim first. Survey preview. Turn headings into questions. Read, define answers. Read. Test yourself with the book closed. Recite, self-recite. And then review later. Review test. It's all about active engagement, not passive reading.
what about speed reading? Is that legit?
They make a crucial distinction. Normal reading, around 150, 200 words per minute, often with subvocalization that little voice in your head is necessary for initial learning and deep understanding.
Okay.
Speed reading, aiming for maybe 400, 500 WPM, is a technique primarily for revision, quickly going over material you already understand.
How do you do it? Use a pointer? Read blocks of words?
Yeah, things like that, using a finger or ruler to guide your eyes, trying to silence the subvocalization, taking in chunks of text. But they warn against those crazy 1,000 WPM claims that's usually sacrificing comprehension.
Yeah.
Woody Allen's joke fits. Read War and Peace in 20 nils. It's about Russia. Get the gist, not the detail.
Reading aloud, can that help?
It slows you down, obviously. But yes, it can improve absorption for some people, especially for difficult new words or concepts. Engages the auditory sense, too, like trying to remember how to pronounce platyhelminthes.
Good point. Selecting sources stick to the textbook.
Generally, yes. Your classes, homework, exams are usually based on the prescribed textbook. Use it as your main source. If your school or coaching center provides summarized notes or key problem sets, definitely use those too. Don't reinvent the wheel or rely only on random internet stuff.
They briefly touch on learning disabilities too, like ADHD, dyslexia.
Just to make the point that these aren't laziness. They're real neurological differences, and there's support available now. Important not to misdiagnose struggles.
Activating prior knowledge. What's that about?
Before you start a new topic, take a minute to just jot down anything you already know about it, however little. It creates mental hooks. Like the Akbar example in the book, you need pegs to hang new information on. It connects the new stuff to your existing memory structure.
Mind maps seem like a big tool for them. Visual organization.
Yeah, Tony Buzan's invention. Instead of linear notes, it's a diagram branching out from a central idea. Very visual, using keywords, images, colors.
They mention the 6 C's. Conciseness, craziness.
Yeah, central idea, conciseness, keywords, craziness. Be silly, use doodles. Curves, avoid rigid straight lines. Colors and cartoons images.
Why the craziness and curves?
Because our brains remember things that are unusual, exaggerated, colorful, and visually interesting, much better than dry, linear text. Mind maps engage both the logical left brain and the creative, holistic right brain. Makes them very sticky for memory.
And this links to the ultimate memory strategy, linking information.
This is probably the most powerful technique. Connect new facts to things you already know, or to vivid sensory details, or create totally bizarre mental images.
Like the Mensa member, they quote, "It's not about rote memory, it's about building effective systems for recall."
Exactly. Make it silly. Write a jingle, invent a crazy story connecting the facts, draw a comic strip. The more unusual or emotional the link, the better you'll remember it. Dale Carnegie. The secret of a good memory is forming diverse and multiple associations.
Create word pictures, like the Snow White dwarf story for remembering names, or the preposition jingle. Simple, but effective.
Flashcards are a classic for a reason, too. Question on front, answer on back.
Active recall again.
Precisely. Repeated self-quizzing. Repetition is the mother of skill. Lots of digital versions like Quizlet exist now, too.
And active flashcards, just adding pictures.
Yeah, enhance them. Draw a unique, memorable, maybe funny picture or diagram on the answer side. Another hook for your memory. And maybe the easiest memory trick. Sleep over it.
Just review notes before bed.
Yep. A quick 5-minute review of your summarized notes right before you go to sleep. Science shows the brain consolidates memories during sleep. That Notre Dame study nailed it. The group that slept after learning remembered way more. Let your brain do the work while you rest.
Okay, so lots on memory. What about individual learning styles? Visual, auditory, kinesthetic?
Right. Visual learners prefer reading, diagrams. Auditory learners prefer listening, discussion. Kinesthetic learners prefer doing, hands-on experience.
And the education system tends to favor visual learners.
Often, yeah. Lots of reading, looking at boards. So the advice isn't to change your style, but figure out how to leverage your dominant sense more effectively within the system.
Like for auditory learners, maybe recording lectures.
If allowed, yes, it can be a great supplement to notes. Not a replacement, but an extra layer. They mention Ashish Goyal, the blind hedge fund manager using high-speed screen readers, shows how powerful focused auditory learning can be.
Using all senses, like that lemon experiment.
Yeah. Just imagine biting a lemon makes your mouth water.
Yay.
It shows how strong the sense memory link is. So try to connect information to smells, tastes, sounds, feelings whenever you can. More connections equal better recall.
Okay, next section. Practice makes perfect, but with a caveat.
Big caveat, understanding matters more.
Especially for subjects like math or physics, practice is essential, but just doing problems without understanding why
Is basically useless. It's just going through the motions.
Okay.
The real test of understanding is, can you explain it in your own words? Can you teach it to someone else?
Craig McCraw. The more you understand, the less you have to remember.
Exactly. Understanding provides the structure, the filing system in your brain. Cramming without understanding is just piling loose papers everywhere. It's hearing versus listening, seeing versus observing, eating versus digesting. One is superficial, one integrates.
So use practice materials, textbooks, past papers, guides, but focus on the why behind the how.
Right. Practice makes the application instinctive, but only if the understanding is there first. And don't be afraid to revisit earlier material if your foundation is shaky.
Using the internet.
Judiciously. It's amazing for finding explanations like a video explaining the Big Bang, but it's also full of distractions, those black holes. Use it as a targeted tool, not your main learning source, unless specifically guided there.
Contextual learning relating it to the real world.
Makes it stickier, like the physics teacher joke about the apple. Math especially lends itself to finding Real-world examples.
And holistic learning, seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah, connecting ideas across different subjects. Like the blind men and the elephant, each only grasps one part. You need to see how the pieces fit together.
They showed those graphs comparing physics concepts like acceleration with economic concepts like diminishing returns.
Showing similar underlying principles. Recognizing those patterns across disciplines leads to much deeper understanding. It's building a web of knowledge, not just isolated facts.
Your network, the people around you, also plays a big role.
Hugely. That fable of Tommy the lion raised by sheep, you need the right environment and influences to reach your potential.
A man is known by the company he keeps. Or the magnet analogy.
Right. Hang around magnets, motivated, smart people, and you tend to become more magnetic yourself. So, choose your study buddies wisely. Associate with focused, like-minded peers.
And talk to your teachers.
Don't be intimidated. Most teachers are genuinely happy to help students who show sincere interest, even outside of class time.
Group study, hit or miss.
Can be great for accountability and getting different viewpoints if the group actually studies. Be honest, is it productive or just a social hour?
And the ultimate learning amplifier within a group, teaching others.
This comes up again and again. It might be the single most effective way to solidify your own understanding. Explaining something to someone else forces you to clarify your thoughts, organize the material logically, and identify your own weak spots.
They mention Edgar Dale's cone of experience.
Yeah, the percentages might be debatable, but the principle holds. We remember way more of what we do and teach compared to passively receiving information. Teaching forces active engagement at the highest level. It hardwires the material.
Tutors can be helpful.
Can definitely accelerate things, provide focused help, but do your homework. Check their experience, talk to former students, maybe ask for a trial session. Make sure they align with your needs and provide practice.
Okay, then there are supplementary skills. Things like handwriting, mental math.
Yeah, the things that can cause you to lose silly marks if they're weak. Legible handwriting, being able to do basic calculations without a calculator, they'll call calculators crushes. Use them, but don't become totally dependent.
Exercise your brain.
Right. Intelligence isn't fixed. It's about connections, dendrites, and synapses. These connections grow when you challenge your brain, and they wither if unused. Use it or lose it.
So puzzles, games, mental math keeps the brain sharp.
Even potentially delaying cognitive decline later in life. And things like language fluency, being bilingual, actually increases gray matter. Practice drawing diagrams, too, if your subjects require them. Get them right before the exam.
General knowledge, not something you can cram.
No, it's built over time. Stay aware of current events, read nonfiction. It helps you make connections and add context to your answers.
Managing your environment, the physical study space, crucial for focus.
Absolutely. Find somewhere quiet, free of distractions. Definitely not your bed or the comfy sofa. A desk is ideal, maybe in your room or the library, even an empty classroom.
And keep it organized. Declutter. A place where everything saves time and mental energy.
Create the right atmosphere.
Yeah.
Good light, comfortable chair, maybe fresh air. Have water handy. All your materials within reach. And remove temptations, phone off or out of sight. Distracting websites blocked.
Facing a wall. Simple trick.
Yep. Limits your visual field. Reduces the chance of your eyes wandering.
But changing scenery sometimes helps.
It can. A UCLA psychologist suggests that switching study locations occasionally can actually boost retention. So if you feel stuck or your focus is gone, try moving to a different room or stepping outside for a bit.
Distractions, external and internal.
External. Noise, uncomfortable chair, temperature. Manage those as best you can. Internal. Harder. Tiredness, relationship worries, financial stress. Acknowledge them. Maybe jot worries down to deal with later, but try to compartmentalize during study time.
Keep lists for other chores and tasks.
Yeah, get those routine things out of your head and onto paper so they don't pop up and derail you while you're trying to focus on quantum physics.
Music while studying, yay or nay?
Can be helpful for some, either to block out external noise, earplugs work too, or to set a calm, focused mood. Generally, instrumental is better lyrics can be distracting.
They mention slower tempo music, like Baroque around 60 beats per minute.
Yes, some theories suggest it helps relax the mind and even activate both brain hemispheres, potentially aiding learning. Einstein and Jefferson apparently used music. Worth experimenting to see if it works for you. Avoid radio TV, though. Ads and chatter are disruptive.
Okay, switching to managing body and mind. Inseparable from learning effectively.
Totally. Your physical and mental state dictates your ability to learn. You need to be tuned, Can't absorb complex ideas if you're stressed or exhausted.
Brain waves, gamma waves for focus.
That's what some research suggests, associated with high-level cognition, focus, recall. And meditation, especially practices like Zen, seem to help cultivate them. Point is, your mind needs to be present and receptive.
Stress kills learning, literally.
Yeah, the stress hormones released during panic or last-minute cramming actually interfere with memory formation. That's why planning, breaks, exercise, and relaxation techniques are crucial. They're not luxuries. They're essential for effective learning. Sleep, we mentioned it for memory, but it's vital for overall function too.
Pulling all-nighters is a really bad idea then.
Generally, yes.
Yeah.
Very risky. You might feel like you're cramming more in, but your retention and critical thinking ability plummet. Consistent sleep is key. Aim for at least 6 hours, ideally more, and try to keep bedtimes regular. Avoid screens and heavy meals right before bed.
Power naps.
Can be great, but keep them short, under 30 minutes, to avoid grogginess. Good for a quick recharge.
Healthy relationships matter too.
Definitely. Feeling secure and supported helps you concentrate. Relationship drama is a huge internal distraction.
Exercise. Sound mind and a sound body.
Classic quote, and true. Exercise boosts blood flow to the brain, increases alertness, improves mood. Aerobic exercise especially seems good for memory and even brain volume in key areas. Find something you enjoy.
Snack smart. What does that mean?
Avoid sugary junk food that leads to energy crashes. Keep healthy options like fruit, nuts, maybe some dark chocolate nearby. Stay hydrated with water, not sugary drinks. Omega-3 fats might be beneficial. And don't eat huge meals right before studying or exams. Makes you sluggish.
Know your brain rhythm, morning lark or night owl.
Yeah, figure out when you're naturally most alert and focused and schedule your most demanding study tasks for those peak periods. Work with your body clock.
And finally, positivity and support. This seems huge.
Incredibly powerful. That Thomas Edison story is amazing. His teacher's letter called him addled, basically incapable of learning. His mother told him the letter said he was a genius and the school couldn't teach him anymore, so she'd teach him herself.
And he believed he was a genius because of her.
Exactly. And only found the original letter years later. That positive framing, that belief instilled by his mother, arguably changed his entire life trajectory. Your attitude matters.
If you think you can, you probably can. If you think you can.
You're probably right, as Henry Ford said. If people put you down, try to use it as fuel, as a challenge. Find ways to stay positive. Maybe music, meditation, focusing on past successes. Trick yourself into it like Tom Sawyer painting the fence.
Ashwin Senghi tracked rejections of famous authors.
Yeah, to keep his own spirits up when facing rejection. Find what works for you. Keep old positive feedback nearby as a reminder.
Prayer and meditation
Can help calm the mind. Shift brain activity away from stress responses. Slows breathing, lowers anxiety. But, importantly, they're not substitutes for studying.
Right, the flood story. Praying but not climbing onto the roof.
Exactly. God helps those who help themselves. Use them as tools to support your efforts, not replace them.
Simple things too, like deep breathing during study, standing up.
Yep, quick resets to fight fatigue and regain focus. Easy to implement.
Okay, so all that leads up to the exam strategy. The payoff. Preparation is key here.
Analyzing past papers is huge. Look for patterns, common topics, how marks are allocated. Coaching centers often do this, but you can too. Create your own mock papers based on the patterns.
But don't only study past questions.
Good point. New questions can always appear. And pay super close attention during any pre-exam review sessions led by your teacher. The stuff they emphasize then, high probability it'll be on the paper.
Handling the exam itself. Practice under pressure.
Do timed mock exams, builds stamina, reduces anxiety, especially for problem solving or essay subjects. Get comfortable with the clock ticking.
Day before. Prepare, but then rest. Stop studying maybe 30 months before the exam itself.
Yeah, give your brain a break. Arrive fresh, double-check you studied for the right paper, avoid anxious classmates clustering outside, get your gear ready, pens, ID, water, calculator if allowed.
Manage physical needs, restroom, light meal once you get the paper.
Take a breath. Calm down. Scan the whole thing first. Then make a plan. Which questions will you tackle first? How much time for each? Start with ones you feel confident about, maybe shorter ones, to build momentum and bank some easy marks. Leave buffer time at the end for review.
Use rough paper effectively.
Don't just scribble calculations. You can jot down quick ideas or keywords for other answers as they occur to you, so you don't lose them while focusing on the current question.
Presentation counts. Neatness, clear numbering, margins.
Absolutely. Make it easy for the examiner to read and grade. No messy crossing out. secure loose sheets properly, score out blank space neatly.
And review, if you have time at the end.
Go back through everything. Check your roll number. Did you answer the required number of questions? Finish any incomplete answers. Tidy things up. Make sure final answers are clearly marked, underlined, or boxed. Remember that story about losing marks for not writing QED? Follow instructions precisely.
Check for silly errors, spelling, grammar. For essays, maybe state your main points up front. MCQs eliminate the obvious wrong answers first.
For math science problems, show you're working clearly, as taught. You can often get partial credit, even if the final answer is wrong.
Neatness, bullet points, clear diagrams, it all helps the examiner.
Attempt only the required questions. If you get totally stuck on one, move on. Come back later if there's time. Don't waste minutes staring blankly. Ignore what everyone else is doing. Just focus on your paper.
Use every last minute to check and recheck. Put yourself in the examiner's shoes. Is this easy to understand and give marks to?
And afterwards, when you get the paper back, review it. Understand your mistakes so you don't repeat them next time. They seem pretty confident that applying these strategies consistently will yield results.
Okay, that covers the how-to. But the book ends on a really important note, going beyond marks.
Yeah, Mark Twain. I've never let my school interfere with my education.
Love that quote.
The authors feel the modern system sometimes gets it backwards. Marks become the goal, and actual learning is just a byproduct. They find that kind of sad.
And they bring in this Japanese idea, wabi-sabi.
Wabi-sabi. It's about finding beauty in imperfection, in things that are transient, incomplete, maybe a bit rough around the edges. Comes from Buddhist philosophy.
How does that apply to studying?
It's a reminder that perfection isn't always achievable or even desirable. Not everyone can be the absolute topper. And striving for that kind of perfection at the expense of your mental and physical health, that's destructive. They mention the tragic suicide rates in hyper-competitive cram schools.
So do your best, use these smart strategies, aim high, but keep perspective, maintain your well-being.
Exactly. And ultimately, choose paths based on your strengths and interests, then aim for real competence and excellence in that field. Understanding and skill are valued long after the exam scores are forgotten.
Wow, that's quite a journey we've taken through their advice. From the core BUS philosophy of believe, unlearn, smart work through planning, making classes count, active recall, note-taking, consistency, Pomodoro, memory techniques like mind maps and linking.
Understanding your style. The importance of understanding overrote practice, building your network, teaching others, supplementary skills, managing your environment, body and mind, nailing exam strategy. And finally, that perspective on wabi-sabi and going beyond just the marks.
It's a really comprehensive approach, and these are all practical takeaways pulled directly from the source material you shared. A lot to think about, but definitely actionable.
Definitely. So as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe here's a final thought for you to consider. Building on that idea of working smart and holistic learning.
Okay.
While this book gives you a fantastic toolkit for achieving academic success, maybe the most valuable things you gain from actually implementing these strategies are the meta skills, learning how you learn best, learning how to adapt your approach, developing that discipline of consistent effort.
Skills that go way beyond the classroom.
Exactly. Skills that are essential for navigating, well, pretty much everything in a world that demands constant learning and adaptation. That ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn might be the real bloody good mark in the long run.
Something to definitely chew on as you put these steps into practice?